my name is Loren Petersen. All right, retired from Northwest Airlines, 40 years seniority. My manager's name was Joe May, and he was very active in what went on. I was a mechanic, but every time there was a cutback or layoff, I would go back into air freight. And that's what I was doing in air freight that night. The way I remember things happening was the FBI showed up. First one that showed up, you had to say he was right out of a comic strip. Slick black hair, combed straight back, smoking a cigarette in a holder, pointing straight up, like a little pencil mustache. And, like I say, a cartoon character. Slippery black slacks, wingtip shoes, white and black. Anyway, that was the first FBI that showed up. Then the second one was a big black man wearing an Ike jacket and very scowling. And he had his back to me most of the time. And he kept looking at his gun in his pocket. And his hand was so big it dwarfed the gun. And then I realized it was a .357 Magnum. So then the third FBI guy shows up, a little black guy, wearing a beret, and he goes dancing around the room. Doody-doo, doody-doo, doody-doo. And he comes up to the big black guy and pokes him in the side, and he says, FBI, peace and war. His exact words were, are we fucked up tonight? Doody-doo, doody-doo, dancing back around the room. That was the FBI. Now, at this time, Joe May, the manager, stuck his head out the door and told one of the agents, Bert Dupre, who just died this last month. Anyway, he told him, Bert, get me a couple parachutes. Bert called the Sky Jump Park out there at Issaquah, called him, and only one on duty was the janitor, and he grabbed one off the shelf. Then the State Patrol picked that up and brought it down to us, and I greeted him outside and took the chute from him. The next chute came from McCord Air Force Base, and it was a standard issue military type chute. Then, so we had those, and about then the guys that were fueling the airplane, the truck kept breaking down. Cooper figured we were messing with him. So anyway, after the third truck broke, Charlie Wilson, who was fueling at the time, he said, I've had it. He didn't want to go back up. So Joe May, the manager, went over to plant maintenance and asked Kenny Wilson, have you got a truck here that'll work? Yeah. He says, I got one. Well, take it up and finish fueling, will you? He said, okay. And all the time the guys were fueling, they could hear everything that was going on in the airplane because the pilot left the mic open, and then our guys had a walkie-talkies that they could, so we knew everything that Cooper was saying inside. And then Then Cooper ordered 6-box lunches. I don't know what was in them, but FBI looked at each box. And I went over to the kitchen and says, I need 6 lunches. So I brought those back. And then the FBI went through those. And then the crew called and said they wanted another jug of coffee. So I had to go back over and get that. A 2.5-gallon jug of coffee. Then about that time, the FBI guy with the money shows up. Nice, clean-cut young fella, wearing a tan trench coat. He looked like FBI. And he came in with the sack, and he says, I ran up the steps of the Federal Reserve Bank, and I didn't even get in. The door opened, and they handed me this. And he says, I never even signed for it. I took it from him. I said, by the way, I didn't sign for it either. He says, oops. So, anyway, I sliced it open and put it in a flight bag, a crew flight bag. It's a black bag. And I put in $250,000. Everybody talks about $200,000. I put $250,000 in the bag, and the money laid crossways. They were in bundles of used $20 bills. I put that in, put the bag in there too, on top that I had slit open. I put it in there, and then tied a 1/2-inch hemp rope onto the handle of the bag with bowline knots. And anyway, that's the way it went. And then Joe May took everything up there and put it on the steps of the 727. That's all I can think of. Oh, then we went over to those of us that were still there, we went over to the hangar, and there was an airplane in there, and we a bunch of the mechanics and myself went over there and dialed the radio to the airplane's, the 727's frequency, and we listened to it when it took off and as it went down. And in that time, oh, I left out one thing. Cooper went in the toilet. For 45 minutes he was in there. And that was strange. The FBI wanted to go up and blow a hole right through the bottom of the airplane. Oh, about that time, the president of the Northwest called, and he's screaming on the phone, "Don't shoot any holes in my airplane." And I said, "Mr. Nyrup, I better give you my boss." And Nyrup says, "Oh, you recognize my voice?" I says, "Yes, I do, sir. We've met before." And so then I said, "Joe, line 3. So that's the way that part went. But then, like I said, back when we all went in the airplane to listen, as the airplane took off, he, even when it's dark, you can see when the Columbia River comes up. And when they saw the river, the captain says the light came on, and it showed that the rear door that goes out to the steps started flickering. That's when Cooper went out the door.
Do you recall what time that was, Mr. Petersen?
No, I don't know the exact time. No, I don't.
Okay.
That's about all I can think of right now.
Okay, thank you. If you don't mind, we'd like to just follow up with a couple of questions.
Sure.
Do you